I loved a triple spiral, my maiden mother crone. Folded my devotion into an origami roll.
Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of Triple Spiral,
Woo, woo, woo,
the show
woo, woo.
where Morgan and I talk about TV, music, and movies, and also have lists of threes. And this is also our third episode. So it's 333.
We got a double trip. Triple trip.
It's the triple spiral.
It is. I want to apologize to you now, to future Zach, for editing this episode because my microphone was very loud for a second.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure I can figure
So
it
when
out.
I do the woo 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 woo, be prepared for that.
So, today on the show, we are going to talk about spooky and creepy things because October just ended, and presumably you watched a lot of scary movies. I actually even watched a couple of sort of scary movies. And we wanted to sort of count down like our top 3 scary movies, top 3 Halloween episodes of TV shows, top 3 spooky songs.
And in Little Brothers fashion, it's a little late.
Right, exactly.
We're
Yep.
like always
Classic.
like a little bit behind on it.
Really not a lot of good SEO branding going on here.
No, but it's like, hey, some people want to just live in that space for a little longer, and the Little Bros are here for you.
And there's a reason that we're a little bit behind too, which is like this is a relevant way to roll into our first topic of conversation here, which is that I wasn't recording anything for a while because I had COVID.
Yes.
So now neither little brother has been untouched by the coronavirus pandemic.
Yes.
It worked its way through my family for most of the month of October.
Yeah. No, I lost basically all of July to it.
Yeah. And it was not fun. I still experience what I would call like shortness of breath. I was very sick for a couple of days. My children did not get as sick, which I'm very thankful for. But yeah, like in general, stay safe out there. There's still a lot of people I know who have never gotten COVID, and I hope that it stays that way for them.
I will tell you too that about the time that Zach got COVID, I was experiencing like the worst cold I've ever had in my life. And I am still not better from that. Like I still have coughing fits and stuff. And what I've basically chalked it up to is that because of COVID, I feel like my body was not like prepared for it. And also the fact that I had been in a mask for 2 years made it so that I did not have a cold for 2 years. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And so I am still like, I feel like my lungs are not where they should be right now. And so, yeah, illness all around, no fun.
When I first started to get sick, I got sick first. Nobody else in my family was sick. So first I was wearing a mask around them. I was testing negative. Then when I started testing positive, our Uncle Jeremy offered to let me come quarantine at his house. So I did. I went to Jeremy's house for like 2.5 days because then Isaac tested positive and it was like, all right, I got to go home and help out. But those 2.5 days, I got a lot of watching stuff in.
Right.
So I thought it would be a good time to compare notes.
Yes.
On what we watched while we had COVID.
Yeah.
So for me, obviously my list is pretty short. And one thing that I did is I finished watching She-Hulk, which we've obviously talked about in every episode of this show. What was your feeling about? How'd you like the wrap up of She-Hulk?
I mean, it was wild, but I loved it. I thought it was great. It was a lot. And
yeah, for people that don't watch She-Hulk, it has an extremely meta conclusion where our heroine, Jen Walters, like literally stops the narrative of the show, complains about the direction that it's going, and takes action to exit her own show and change the outcome.
Let's go ahead and say light spoilers for She-Hulk so I can talk about one aspect of it, which is not light, really heavy spoilers for She-Hulk. I thought that the Kevin robot was so funny.
Yeah, so originally Tatiana Maslany had said, like in the media, that they were going to break the fourth wall to the extent that Kevin Feige was going to like address her on the show. I remember reading that.
Huh.
And I think it's a sort of direct reference to, I think in the comic books, she like talks to Stan Lee.
Yes, she does.
Right. So that was the idea. So what I thought was so clever about that was that they said that early on to get people hyped for how meta the show was going to be. And then they actually had a second layer joke prepared, which is that Kevin Feige is not a person. Kevin is a robot that like helps generate story, basically.
I really liked when in that scene when she's talking about how the incel dude gets powers, and it's and she's like, we don't need that, and it's like deleting bloodline story. Like there was some great stuff in there.
I thought it was funny when she said she was going to transform like either to She-Hulk or back into Jen Walters, and the robot says like, okay, but do it while the camera's looking at me because the special effects crew has moved on to another project.
Yeah, I really really enjoyed it. Honestly, like, just because it was so wild did not deter me at all. I was like, yeah, this is a good way to end this wild show.
Yeah. And I got a little nervous, I think around episode 7, when it did the exact same thing WandaVision did, which was like pan out to some kind of like a computer screen showing that there was like some larger conspiracy theory afoot. You know, and I was like, oh man, it's just going to become like a regular Marvel third act smash 'em up at this point, and it didn't.
Yes.
So I was happy about that.
I was too. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the season, and I hope they do more. And I loved the joke about like see you on the big screen, and she was like, wait, really? And he was like, no.
Yeah, that's funny.
There was lots to like, and the fact that. You know, I really enjoyed the fact that they used real comments from people online, like, you know, like all the sexist comments that they used. Like, anytime they showed the internet, those were real comments that they turned into the show.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That was just so great. And
yeah, it took a lot of advantage of She-Hulk, the comics have this meta third wall breaking thing, which is, it can be dicey, right? Like, that's become a fairly common thing on TV, starting with, I think, House of Cards, which is funny because House of Cards, I think, was kind of aping, like, the Richard III movie starring Ian McKellen from years ago. But anyway, they didn't do it very often, which was part of the problem.
Right.
You know? Like, Kevin Spacey would only turn to the camera and talk, like, once every 2 episodes or something. So it just seemed strange.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought She-Hulk was going to fall prey to the same thing. But I actually think that, like, the seasoning level was exactly right when it comes to the meta spice of She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Like, perfectly balanced dish.
You know, it's funny that I'm thinking about, we have some weird comparisons in our COVID list. Okay?
Oh, yeah?
So, one of the things that I think is, this is a light comparison, but we finished Miss Marvel during that time.
Ah, yeah.
There's that, and then also we have another, weirdly, I watched one of the movies that you watched during this time, Last Night in Soho.
Yeah. So Last Night in Soho was actually the first thing I like sat down to watch because, I mean, here I was, right? I was going to be like watching a bunch of stuff alone. So I chose a bunch of like dark or violent material because I just knew it was something that Christy would not really want to see.
Sure.
So Last Night in Soho was where I started, and I really liked it.
I liked it too. I liked it a lot. I think that the end is like a little, kind of goes off the rails real quick.
Yeah, the end is just kind of like just too much fire, too much blood.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, like all the way leading up to it, was really fun. I don't think I've actually ever seen Anya Taylor-Joy in anything yet. I think this is my first time.
Oh, really?
And she's great. She's delightful.
Yes. You didn't watch Queen's Gambit?
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's crazy good.
I may have to check it out.
And I will also say that I know another thing that you haven't watched that she's in. Bad movie, but she's great in it. New Mutants.
Oh, she's in New Mutants too? Wow.
Yeah, she's magic.
That Anya Taylor-Joy, real busy.
Oh yeah, and like awesome. She's so good and stuff. And Queen's Gambit is an amazing show. It's so good.
Yeah. That was one of those ones that was like it was like a real cultural sensation for a while, and it just felt like I missed the boat.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right. You did.
But great music in Last Night in Soho.
Mm-hmm.
You and I texted a little about the original version of I've Got My Mind Set on You, which I did not know existed. Like, I always thought the George Harrison song was the original iteration of that song. But the original is wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, it is. And yeah, the music's great. And that's what you're looking for with like period piece too, just because it sets it in such a... Okay, and by the way, this ties into something that I really want to talk about with you, which is that I watched a video of Christian Bale talking about his roles. Okay, one of those, YouTube, like, Christian Bale talks about his most iconic roles, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and, I mean, Christian Bale, famous method actor, he's not one of these guys that, like, is known for taking it too far, but he's known for having... I mean, there was that time that he lost it on the guy on the Terminator set, but...
Yeah.
I think if anything that he takes it too far with, it's the idea that, like, he puts his body through these insane transformations. But here's something crazy and amazing. He sits and listens to the music that person would listen to when he's not, like when he's just, like, waiting around on set and stuff. He listens in headphones and, like, closes his eyes and listens to whatever music, like, that role would be listening to. Isn't that amazing?
That's interesting. So when he was playing, like, a Terminator, he just didn't listen to anything.
Yeah, presumably, right?
That's why he was
just
in
like
a bad mood.
like long droning sounds.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like he understands it so well, because it's like, yeah, that really would kind of tie you to that role, in the idea that, that is such an identity of people.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, I like, between Last Night in Soho and Licorice Pizza, now I feel like my Spotify playlists are, like, populated anew with in this sort of Guardians style classic jams.
Yeah.
So I have been, I've been very much... there's a long tail of enjoyment that comes from a movie like Last Night in Soho, because you're listening to the music for, like, weeks afterwards, which is sort of inextricably connected to the feeling of the movie for a while until it isn't.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of still in that long tail right now, and I really liked it.
Me too.
So maybe I should just keep going down my list, and maybe there's an equivalent on your COVID list for each one.
Maybe. Let's do it.
Because I saw two Anya Taylor-Joy movies, because I also watched The Northman, which is Robert Eggers' Viking movie. And this movie rocks.
I have not seen it. So what is it? I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
So Robert Eggers directed The Lighthouse and The Witch.
Yep, seen both of those.
I have not seen The Witch because it sounds way too scary. But
it's boring. I fell asleep.
Oh, well, I loved The Lighthouse. but I would not really call it a scary movie. Relevant to our scary movie discussion, The Lighthouse is disturbing, but
yes, very.
It's not scary.
I will never watch
anyway,
the Lighthouse again. And also, by the way, don't ever watch The Witch. I'm thinking about some things that happen in it, and you should not watch it.
Oh, I know about some things that happen, and that's one reason that I don't watch it. I have a very strong sense for, does a bad thing happen to a baby in this movie? I just sort of have like a sixth sense for it in the first place, and then I go and look up the like Wikipedia summary or something if I'm pretty certain, you know?
Sure.
Like House of the Dragon, and I was like, I don't think so. And
yeah.
And then just, through the cultural firmament, I absorbed that I was right about that.
Dude, I watched like one episode of this, and I was like, oh, this is everything that I hate about Game of Thrones. Never mind. Oh, now I remember hating Game of Thrones every single episode. Yeah, that's right, Internet. Game of Thrones sucks. Come at me.
Well, so, The Northman does not suck. And, actually, here's a direct comparison, though, right? People complain a lot about the night scenes in Game of Thrones as being, like, basically you can't see what's going on. There's a lot of scenes that take place at night in The Northman, and they look great. It's like all of these, like, deep purples and deep greens. I don't know if it's day for night, when they shoot it during the day, but then they change it to look like it's night or what. I don't know how they do it. I think it has a lot to do with like contrast and color correction after the fact, but it looks great.
Okay, well,
it's like why can't everything look like this?
I will say that the two things that I know of this guy, The Witch and The Lighthouse, I would say that The Lighthouse plays very well with dark scenes, and The Witch I remember being incredibly dark and kind of hard to see.
Well, so he's learned.
Yeah, that's maybe.
But, So the Northman is basically like a revenge epic. A younger boy his family's betrayed by his uncle, and he basically just spends the rest of the movie on the warpath.
Cool.
It is psychotically violent, but very entertaining. And one of the Skarsgård, Alexander Skarsgård, and Anya Taylor-Joy are kind of like the two leads. So yeah, good movie, not for the faint of heart, but fun.
Okay, here's my comparison to that, even though it doesn't actually, it doesn't exactly translate. But we watched The Green Knight. Okay.
Yeah, I love The Green Knight.
Okay, so I do too. I loved the story because I read it in high school. Did you read it in high school?
I don't think so.
So I loved the story, and it was actually one of the things that made me get really into King Arthur back in the day. I really enjoyed King Arthur storylines. I don't know why. It's just something that I took to. But The Green Knight was a huge part of that. And when I heard that they were going to make a movie out of it, I was like, hell yeah. So and
David Lowery, he directed a great movie called A Ghost Story, which I love. So
I don't think I've seen that.
I was excited. Does not have nearly the scope or scale of The Green Knight, so it was pretty cool to see him level up.
Yeah, so like that's scope and scale absolutely with The Green Knight. It's I really enjoyed it. I thought that The Green Knight itself looked, horrifying and really cool.
Yeah, I mean, just visually, just an absolutely stunning movie. One of the most, I would say, visually memorable movies I've ever seen.
Okay, so you know what I would say about my one complaint with it? Is that, like, it does a little bit too much. What I remember about Gowan and how he, operates in that story is that he is, like, mostly a good guy, and I didn't really like how much he's kind of like a scumbag in this. But that's a minor complaint. I just look at it as
I'm very unfamiliar with the mythology, actually, and I remember, so after I saw The Green Knight, I remember like reading a little bit about or listening to a podcast where they were talking about the like mythology of it, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I actually didn't know this going in.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad I just kind of was free floating in this story.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I just thought, half of the time I was kind of screaming at my TV, being like, "Ah, come on, dude." But it is what it is. So, what else you got on your COVID list?
Well, all right, let's keep talking about movies that are visually grand. I finally watched Dune.
Oh yeah, awesome, cool. What'd you think?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I was prepared for the fact that people had already told me like it's half a movie.
Right,
which it
right.
is.
You kind of
like it basically just cuts off.
Yeah, you kind of should know that going in. I think that probably helps
Yep.
your enjoyment level.
Yeah, and there's definitely, the section where like Paul and his mother are kind of like stranded in the desert is like a little long.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a little bit tuning out during certain sections of that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, the way the movie sets up. I mean, I think Oscar Isaac is so good in it.
Agreed.
When he's like, "We must cultivate desert power."
Yep.
Plus, he gives one of those Aaron Sorkin like, the only thing you ever needed to do for me to be proud of you is come home at the end of the day, kind of like dad speeches.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
Which is just like wonderful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, super fun like cast. I'm excited to see like Dave Bautista get to do more than just kind of like grunt a couple of times in future movies, and Zendaya like mostly appears in dreams, so it'll be fun to like see reality. I think that what the movie does with Paul's visions not really exactly lining up with things that happen is like pretty cool.
Agreed.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen that exact thing happen before, where like he has this vision of a guy, and then when he meets that guy, it does not turn out that way at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, cool. It's just interesting. I think that Dune has a lot of interesting ideas very simply expressed, which I would say is kind of a hallmark of Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, Denis Villeneuve. I really like that about Blade Runner 2049 too.
I never saw that.
It's good. I really like it.
See, you know what was my hang-up was that I've never seen the original Blade Runner, and I felt like I needed to before I saw that. Even though I know it's probably standalone, I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to see the first one first.
I feel like I was pretty sure I'd seen Blade Runner, and I kind of knew the general like replicant whatever, and so I thought, okay, that's probably enough. There were definitely parts of it that probably would have been more enriched by having seen the original Blade Runner more recently, but I didn't really worry about it that much.
Yeah. I have two more things that I want to talk about from my COVID watch list, but one of them I did not enjoy very much, which is Spiderhead.
Oh, okay, interesting.
With Chris Hemsworth?
It's Joseph Kosinski's movie. He's the guy who directed Top Gun Maverick.
Yes. So basically, this is
based on a George Saunders story as well.
It's an amazing premise, and there's stuff that's really good in it, but it just feels like it wasn't. I don't know. Do you know anything about it?
No, I saw a trailer.
So basically, it is like convicts are offered this time in this like home type place, where if they're like, it's like experimental drugs, but basically you have like this thing attached to you, a lot like a insulin pump for diabetics, but it has multiple different drugs in it that alter your things like sex drive or anger or happiness and stuff like that, and they kind of play with that in like demos. Like they'll put you in a room and they'll crank up something, whatever it is. Okay. There's lots of different reveals along the way, and it just kind of felt like they couldn't do certain things because Black Mirror already did it, like that kind of thing.
Sure.
It felt very Black Mirror. And it's just all around, like, I don't know, it just kind of goes off the rails a little bit, and great premise, like, not the best story around that. And so Chris Hemsworth is great in it. I love him as a bad guy. But yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't the favorite thing that I watched during COVID. And
So yeah, you said you see one thing that was good and one thing that was bad, right? So what was the thing that was good?
Everything, everywhere, all at once, baby.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
I loved it, and that was when I watched it. Was sitting on the couch, sick as a dog. But yeah, it oh man, it's like one of my favorite movies in my mind. But
you know, I was thinking about the fact that I was like, this is a movie for the next set of people. The people that didn't have Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind come out when they were 15.
yeah, sure.
And because that's probably the closest point of comparison. But I would say that there's some stuff about kind of like the humor in Everything Everywhere All at Once that is just not quite my sense of humor.
Yeah.
You know, where I was like, this movie is just a little bit too silly for me to love completely.
Yes, it is
But-
very silly.
Yeah, but there's a lot to love about it, and a lot of just effort in its creation that is just so evident on the screen, and I love that. I love effort.
Yes, me too. I thought it was a really fun ride, and yeah, it's really silly at times, and honestly, like the first time the hot dog fingers appear is really funny, but then like there was too much of it. Like the fact that we go into a whole storyline of Jamie Lee Curtis and her wife like having this like really tumultuous relationship, and like I don't know, it was like I need the hot dog fingers to go away now. Like
What I do really like is that the movie introduces all of these incredibly silly multiversal elements, but they all kind of like come back or stay in play throughout the whole story.
yeah.
And so that's where you end up with, like, it's so funny because there's so much multiversal storytelling going on right now, and then here comes this tiny indie movie that just kind of like shows everybody up. Because that's kind of what you want with like a Doctor Strange in the multiverse kind of movie, is you want the conclusion of the story to be about all of these, seemingly way too many multiversal threads kind of converging on each other. And maybe that's something they're keeping for Secret Wars. It would appear from the Ant-Man trailer that they're not taking that route with this story for Ant-Man. It's like instead Ant-Man like goes into a acid trip.
Yeah, it's a galactic journey.
Oh, real quick. Do you think William Jackson Harper is going to be Reed Richards because he was cast in the movie? I know this is like the Charlie Brown football that Marvel fans just keep getting tricked by over and over and over again, but it's possible, right?
William Jackson Harper is the guy from The Good Place, right?
Yeah, Chidi from The Good Place.
Okay, dude, God damn, I hope so. It'd be awesome.
It would be awesome.
It would be awesome. Yeah. Also, by the way, the guy who plays, I'm sure the internet will go crazy that I don't know his name. The guy who plays Pierce's stepbrother in Community. That older black actor he's in Star Wars now too. He was rumored to be Professor X like a while ago.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Okay, well, we'll look him up later and you'll know who I'm talking about. But he also apparently lifted up in an interview or something like this. He lifted up a Funko Pop of Professor X.
Oh, you're talking about Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes. So apparently he lifted up a Funko Pop and said, "See you on the big screen" to someone. And I'm like, wait, so is Marvel actually doing like the X-Men Fantastic Four are all going to be black? Because that would be amazing.
Well, and they just cast Yahya Abdul-Mateen as Wonder Man.
Oh, interesting.
And I really like him, from Watchmen. So that's a cool.
That's amazing, and also Wonder Man. Wow, I'll tell you what. Pretty happy I bought that Wonder Man #1 a while ago. That'll be dope.
I get all these people confused. Like I just recently finally watched Shazam.
You never saw Shazam?
No.
Wow.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I was like really, I was like listening to a podcast afterwards, as is my wont, and they were like talking about how Captain Marvel, that's Captain Marvel. Like, in the DC universe, his name is Captain Marvel, or was
Right.
for a while.
Yeah.
Which is partly why they just keep drawing out the fact that like he doesn't have a name in the movie.
Yeah. Well, it's because he can't say the word
yeah.
Shazam as his name. You know?
Right. Yeah. But I thought it was a fun movie. But anyway, I forget how we got on this subject. But Wonder Man, Captain Marvel, Mr. Marvel. There's too many like extremely vaguely named superheroes.
Yes, I agree.
When you tell me there's a guy named Wonder Man, I'm like, but that's a real one and not like a joke one.
So yeah, I don't really know anything about Wonder Man, but I love it. And oh my God, if William Jackson Harper is Reed Richards, I will lose it. Okay, well, let's move on. Okay, do you have anything on your COVID list that you want to talk about?
I just want to shout out We Own This City, which is the David Simon, George Pelecanos 6-episode miniseries that essentially functions as like The Wire season 6.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite though, because several actors from The Wire are playing very different roles in this story.
Okay,
but it's incredible from start to finish. It's an incredible like piece of civic art is how I've heard it described. Just kind of like showing the like rot of institutions and clearly explaining how it happened. And not only that, but it has like incredible performances. John Bernthal, who is just awesome all the time,
agreed,
gives an insane performance as Leroy Jenkins is his name, who is a corrupt police officer.
Do I need to see all of The Wire to watch this?
No, you don't need to see any of The Wire.
Okay, I've seen some of The Wire, but I've not gone through it.
You can start right from here. There's a late period character in The Wire is a villain named Marlowe.
Okay.
And he has this sort of famous line in The Wire, which is "My name is my name," which I just watched. I rewatched Molly's Game recently, which is there's a scene about it's my name. It's the only one I have.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's a lot of good my name stuff recently in the things I've been watching. But anyway, Marlowe is like this explosive and angry character, and the same actor, Jamie Hector, plays a homicide detective in We Own This City, and it is as different a performance as possible.
Interesting.
Like as different a performance as one guy can make on two different TV shows written by the same people.
Okay, and it is or isn't historically accurate. Is it fiction or is it?
It is in fact true.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
The story it tells is true. I intentionally did not look up what happened because I wanted to know.
Yeah.
I wanted to be surprised by the story, and I was very surprised. So
very interesting.
I will say one thing about it is it's a show that you really have to pay attention to because it jumps around in time.
Oh, okay.
Very almost seemingly at random. It has thematic reasons for jumping around in time instead of story reasons, which makes it sometimes a little hard to follow the story, but you adjust. You adjust after a while.
Interesting. Well, the just to tag on one more thing, I saw Black Adam.
You did?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, the short answer is because it has Dr. Fate in it, who is my favorite comic book character, like basically ever.
Played by Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, and he's incredible in it. And I will say there's a Justice Society in it, played by I'm not sure who plays Cyclone, but she's great in it. Noah Centineo plays Atom Smasher. I don't know the guy that plays Hawkman, but he's awesome in it too, and I hate Hawkman, so that's like a big feat that they made Hawkman likable. And everything else is questionable and very silly. But there's some good stuff in it. Like there's this, like, of course there's a kid, because I don't know what the deal is with movies, but they're so obsessed with the Terminator that there's always a John Connor kid. And like there's like an ongoing bit where he's trying to teach Black Adam how to say a catchphrase, where he's like, you say something cool, like, the man, like, tell him the man in black sent you, or like that kind of thing. And like he keeps getting it wrong. He keeps like murdering people and then saying a line afterwards. And
all right, that's funny.
And like at one point At one point, he's chasing down a group of bad guys, and Dr. Fate is like communicating with him, but is not with him, and he takes a guy and he just like throws him like thousands of feet into the air, and that's the last guy that he hunted down, and Dr. Fate's like, great, well, bring him back in and we can ask him some questions, kind of deal, and Black Adam just looks and he watches the guy slowly come back down to earth and crash, and he goes, he didn't make it. So there's a couple of ones that got me real good.
I mean, Black Adam is one of those movies that I'm gonna half watch when it's on HBO.
Yeah, exactly.
But like my plan from the outset, you know.
Well, the real reason that I actually saw that movie was because we had plans to go to the movies with a friend of ours to see My Policeman, and then we found out that My Policeman is not playing anywhere around here. So we were like, well, let's still go to the movies and see Black Adam.
Wow, the movies that are on your radar are very interesting to me. I'm only vaguely aware of My Policeman, but
it's apparently incredible, but I still have not been able to see it.
Bunch of great movies are coming out pretty soon. I mean, I think the Cate Blanchett one, Tar, I think that's already out. And then Banshees of Inisherin, which is, you ever see In Bruges?
Yeah. I know
Bruges
all about it.
It's the greatest. Yeah, so this is, a reunion.
I loved In Bruges. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's one called Armageddon Time that I hear is really good.
You know what,
James Gray.
You know what you should definitely watch when it hits, I think November 7th it hits HBO. Don't Worry Darling is worth a watch.
Interesting. All right, I heard a lot of talk about it. So
I mean, it's obviously yes, it's been a
I'm a big Chris Pine head, so
well, Chris Pine's awesome in it, and so is Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh is so good in it. She really leads that movie, is like all her, and her performance is great. And Harry Styles.
Saw
what?
I think our dad saw Don't Worry Darling in the theater.
Our dad?
Yeah, he was like telling me he had like a roommate for a little while.
Yeah.
And he was like telling me that they've been like going to the movies.
Interesting, because the last movie I remember seeing with Dean in the theater, do you remember what it was?
Was it Lincoln?
Yeah. It was Lincoln.
That movie rocks.
Yeah. And it was, I think it's the only movie he's ever taken us to the theater that he did not fall asleep during.
Probably. Man, speaking of the people who created Lincoln, Spielberg and Tony Kushner, have you seen?
Oh my God, dude!
The Fablemans thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see the Fablemans.
I know, it looks amazing.
It looks like I'm gonna cry the whole time.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like, okay, so I'm gonna cry for 2.5 hours. Cool.
I feel like we could be very surprised by what happens with Wakanda Forever. I keep forgetting that it exists, and it comes out like soon.
Yeah, I know.
You know what else comes out soon?
What?
The Bright Eyes reissues, the next set.
Oh man, I can't wait.
That might even come out on Friday.
Wow,
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't.
It was definitely it was a day in early November. It might be mid-November actually. It might be like the 18th.
Honestly, I basically just wait until you tell me that it's out, and then.
You know what's out? All right, this is our transition into our music conversation here. Wilco just released a 20th anniversary version of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
Really?
And it has a bunch of alternate recordings of songs from that time when they were really, I mean, they were trying these songs every way.
I know, man. You can see it in the movie, so.
Yeah. So there's a version of Camera that I've never heard on this one. There's a version of Magazine called Sunset I'd never heard before.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, and so it's really fun. It's got I think it's got multiple discs. So if you look at it on Spotify, you have to start to go down to the tracks that say the Unified Theory of Everything. That's like disc 2.
Okay.
And so that's when the alternate stuff starts.
I love Magazine called Sunset. That's like such a great song.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't wait to check it out. I feel like that is like one of those times that we always talk about, like, what would you have loved to see? And obviously the documentary shows a lot of it, but if you could be in the room when they were recording that album, that's one of them.
Let's talk about spooky songs. So when you were sort of given the assignment, right, of coming up with what's your top 3 spooky songs, where did you go first? Like, what was your thought process? Did you look up Halloween playlists?
Not really, because I kind of had an idea of, since we were only doing 3, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to talk about. And I think that I should go first because I feel like my list is going to be... I feel like your list will be better than mine.
We could also do like 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. All I could think about, because we've always talked about haunting songs and like songs that have like some sort of weird darkness to them. It just so happens that this is also one of my favorite songs ever, Farewell Transmission.
Nice. That's a good number 3.
Like, it's a strange one to choose because it's not exactly like what you would think for a Halloween playlist. But, you know, there's some ghosts in that song, and that was like immediately where my brain went to when thinking about this type of thing.
Well, if you put it on a conventional Halloween playlist, right? Like, that is where I started when I was looking up stuff, and I was like, like there's certain songs that I never really listened to that I think are cool, like Time Warp from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's a sick song. It kind of sounds like
an incredible song.
It sounds like a Best of T-Rex album smashed into one song.
Dude, what is it that makes you think T-Rex? Because that's where I go to. And I think it's
the glam rock thing.
Well, it
right?
absolutely is, but like it's Children of the Revolution or something, you know? Like it's weird how that dude, it's too bad that like so much glam rock is bad, because when it's good, it's incredible.
Yeah. You're right. You gotta cherry pick. But if you put, like, let's say you did a playlist and you had like Time Warp, and then you had like Monster Mash, and then you had Farewell Transmission, it doesn't sound out of place.
Yeah. No, I agree. All
right, well, my number 3 on my list of spooky songs is All on Black by Alkaline Trio.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I was first looking at, like, Halloween songs. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, like, this is Halloween from Nightmare Before Christmas and stuff like that. A funny thing I found, too, is that a lot of songs people have on their Halloween playlists are Christmas songs to me, like Werewolves of London.
Why is that a Christmas song to you?
I think it's just something about the chord progression or something. It's so funny. I feel like there are Halloween chords and there are Christmas chords. And despite the fact that that's a song about a werewolf ripping people apart, it sounds Christmassy to me. So
interesting choice.
It's sort of like,
I like
it's sort of I have like holiday synesthesia.
Yeah.
But Alkaline Trio obviously is just like a Halloween band. You know what I mean? Like they're goth and evil and singing about murder all the time. But I think that All on Black, it just kind of sounds like the quintessential Alkaline Trio song. Like if someone said, "What does Alkaline Trio sound like?" I might play them All on Black.
Interesting.
So that's kind of why I picked it as like a stand-in for the 4 or 5 Alkaline Trio albums that I really love.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a big Alkaline Trio guy, so it that tracks.
I am. That's true.
So my number 2 is a song that is now related to Halloween because of you, and it is also like in the idea that it is a stand-in for Tom Waits being Halloweeny, and that is Tango Till They're Sore.
Nice. I do love Tango Till They're Sore.
The first year I made Tuesdays with Morgan, Zach played Tango Till They're Sore in a Batman mask, and ever since it has been a Halloween-like song to me. It's just related to, in my brain. And also, obviously Tom Waits, you could put him on a Halloween playlist basically anywhere, and that would...
Especially songs like that have kind of like jangly noise in them, It almost sounds like you're transitioning out of a Halloween sound effects CD at the beginning of that song.
Yeah, well, and also it's kind of like there's like a couple different versions of Tom Waits. Like the real rock and roll, real gone kind of sound, and that jangly, kind of bar room sound.
Right. Yeah.
So like it's more that than like the rock and roll stuff, but I think the rock and roll stuff would fit too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could put on Real Gone just as a Halloween playlist.
You could.
From track 1 to the end. Does that have What's He Building in there on it? I forget which album has
What's He Building?
That might be...
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, what's he building up there might be on. It's on the album that has "Come On Up to the House" in it, whatever that is. Anyway, it's like Tom. The album cover is like Tom Waits climbing a hill, but maybe it might be Mule Variations.
Oh, it might be that.
So anyway, what's he building in there is like just a spoken word, like horror short story about like being suspicious of what your neighbor's up to.
Oh
It's
man,
like
I gotta hear that. I don't think I know that song. I'm gonna write
It's
that
fun.
down.
It's fun to listen to.
Interesting.
It's a lot of Tom Waits going like, "What's he building in there?"
Awesome.
So my number 2 is a song by a band called the Pack AD, and it's called "Haunt You." Now, this is how I would describe the Pack AD. They sound like if you took the Black Keys and you ran them through like a Snapchat Halloween filter.
Okay.
Like musically very similar, like a lot of just like drums and guitar riffs, a lot of like wordless choruses and stuff. And this particular song, like I'll put a clip. I'm trying not to put too many music clips in these podcasts, but I'll put a clip in because like when you hear it, it's like this just sounds like Halloween. Like they just found the exact Halloween guitar riff, and yeah, it's a good song.
Interesting. Cool. I wrote that down too.
It has very like that song has very like opening sequence of an animated show about like a monster vibes in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. I've never even heard of them.
All right. So what's your number 1?
Far From Any Road, The Handsome Family.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Like,
yes, popularized by True Detective season 1.
yes, and you know, it's just the spookiest song there is, and it's a great song.
The Handsome Family does a lot of great songs, and I like some of the reinterpretation of their songs even more than I like their versions, which I think is actually like a incredible testament to being like a great songwriter.
Yes, I agree with that.
So like there's some Andrew Bird versions of Handsome Family songs that are really good. Yeah, but that's great. That's a great choice.
What's yours?
My number 1 is Evil by the band Interpol. And I had like a real Halloween and Halloween Eve reconciliation with the Interpol album Antics, which is their second album.
Yeah.
Came out in 2004. And I loved Turn on the Bright Lights
me
when
too.
it came out 20 years ago. And I had kind of a not negative, but kind of an odd reaction to Antics when it came out because Interpol really leveled up, you know? And like their vocals are much more like front and center in the mix, and their guitars were like louder and sharper, and they just kind of like, they sort of took a step toward mainstream. I mean, it's Interpol, so they were never going to get to mainstream,
right?
But like they took a step in that direction.
Yeah.
And so it was surprising to me. I remember hearing this song. You know, Evil is the one that like starts out with just bass, and it's like Rosemary.
Yeah.
Heaven. Anyway, yeah. So I remember not liking it that much, but I put on this album, and I was like, man, there are a bunch of bangers on this album. Next Exit or Near Exit, or forget what the first song is called. I think it's Next Exit. It's great. The one that's like, we ain't going to the town.
You're Interpol.
We're going to the city.
Your Interpol is interesting.
You know, here's a funny thing about this. I don't know and have never known what Paul Banks from Interpol looks like.
Yeah.
And I think that helps how I hear his voice.
Yeah.
And that documentary about Meet Me in the Bathroom is coming out soon, and I really want to see it, but I'm a little bit concerned about sometimes you see someone singing for the first time, and then you hear their voice differently forever.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned with that, but I mean, like, yeah, I agree. There's
It's on my mind. There's something very special about the fact that I don't know how to picture anyone from Interpol except for Carlos D.
Yeah, I feel like they all look like him. I'm not sure though.
I think they all look a little more normal than him, which is sort of surprising because I think that Paul Banks sounds like some kind of ghost. So it's hard to imagine him having a corporeal form.
Yes, I agree.
But yes, so anyway, Interpol, just another great kind of goth band. Like, you can just throw on an Interpol album, but there's something that's almost sweet about Turn on the Bright Lights, and there's something that's a little bit more like closer to the Alkaline Trio vibe from like Antics and Our Love to Admire, those albums.
I agree with that. What's funny about the Interpol thing is that, like, Sarah and I were always in the same, like, we always, loved all the same albums growing up. And then it got to Interpol and I was like, oh yeah, it's Turn on Your Bright Lights. And she's like, no, it's Antics. And I'm like,
yeah, that's very interesting.
What? Like she never listened to that album before. And like, I never listened to Antics. I mean, I knew that, I knew the hits off of it, basically.
Right. I feel like sometimes it's like whatever album, with certain bands that are fairly consistent, it's whatever one you hear first.
Right,
that's
exactly.
your one.
Yeah.
So like for me with like Beirut, it's like the Flying Club Cup.
Yes.
Is like, that's Beirut.
Yeah, same.
But what's the one that came right after that? Much more piano heavy album. Like, that album is just as good.
Yeah.
The Riptide. Like,
the Riptide, yeah.
Yeah. So if the Riptide is your Beirut album, it's like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
But mine's not, just because I picked them up on that album,
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's only true of certain people, obviously, because a lot of people are very different from album to album. But the people that are like fairly consistent,
I think it's the same. I kind of think it's the same. I think it's more like, what did you hear first? What was your, and that's, I guess, to your point that of like the different, when you're not as consistent, like Bruce Springsteen is someone whose albums vary so greatly that, like, it might be hearing the first one makes it yours, but it might not.
Well, and also people like Bruce Springsteen and just the culture at large, we're way more in the business of like telling the story of Bruce Springsteen or like of Bob Dylan. They're kind of like modern myths.
Yes.
So you can we all kind of experience Bruce Springsteen the same way. He means more to some people than others, but like you listen to his albums and you can kind of construct the story of Bruce Springsteen's career because he's done such a good job of telling it.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas like Zach Condon is not doing a lot to explain to everyone the narrative of Beirut.
Sure.
So people have a much more subjective experience going through that discography than they do going through like Bob Dylan or the Beatles or Bruce Springsteen or people like that, Fleetwood Mac, people who have like these stories.
That's true. There's a lot more identity there than others. Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. I mean, Bruce Springsteen has basically like his whole bit is kind of I'm Bruce Springsteen. So
right. I did want to do an honorable mention, by the way, to just the song Wolf Like Me by TV on the Radio.
Yeah.
I talk about that song all the time. So, like, I felt like I didn't need to shout it out, but obviously that's my number one with a bullet, Halloween song.
Yeah. No, that's definitely up there for sure.
Let's talk about Halloween episodes of TV shows.
Okay.
This was harder to put together.
Oh, I did like seasons.
Like, see, what do you mean?
I did like Halloween shows. I didn't do specific episodes.
Okay.
So now our lists are different.
We have two different lists, but that's okay. It's just more content.
Yeah, more.
So all right, we'll talk
more content.
Talk to me about it. What's
all right? So let's do mine and then let's do yours because mine's one solid thing. Okay, here's the deal. As far as I love horror things. I've watched so many of them that basically someone says, "Have you seen this?" and I go, "Oh, I don't know," and then they start telling me, and I go, "Yeah, I've seen that." With TV shows, there are very specific ones that are very prominent and it's not an easy thing to do to make an entertaining like horror television show. 'Cause it kind of runs out of steam at some point. So my number one is, my number 3 is True Detective Season 1. You can see some fluency here between my lists.
Excellent choice.
Because it is so horrifying. Like, it's a terrifying story. And everything that's in it, like the imagery and everything, is just perfectly crafted. It's one of the best seasons of television that's ever been made, and it also definitely rings the Halloween bell.
Yes. There's so much imagery that was just like that show knew how to end an episode.
Yes.
Like every episode would end so good, and you'd be so excited for next week.
Yes.
And that was a huge part of it.
Yeah. It's just perfectly made, front to back. Everything about it is just incredible. And I mean, obviously, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey really like cherry on top that whole thing.
Yeah, and they're so funny too.
They are,
which is actually. That's a very common thing with horror, you know? Like,
yes.
Things that are often scary are also often very funny.
Yeah, agreed. Well, and especially if it's, you know, a well-rounded piece of art, you know, no matter what it is, that's,
right.
You know, you have that type of thing in it.
Right.
My number 2, I have only actually watched 2 episodes of this so far.
All right, Morgan's microphone cuts out for a second here, but his selection is Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
He's putting a lot of good directors to work.
Well, and so he basically serves as Rod Serling and introduces an episode, you know, and then it kicks it to whoever. But the second episode is about a rat, like, cemetery kind of deal. Like, it's like a cemetery that the bodies are being eaten by rats. It's very silly. But the first episode is called Lot 36. And I'm blanking. Oh, it's Tim Blake Nelson is in it. And it is so good. And I just love the premise of he basically Guillermo del Toro like gives a little monologue at the beginning and walks up to the cabinet and pulls out an item of whatever the story's going to be about. And like in this one, he pulls out a key that says Lot 36 on it. And it is just a lot of fun, and I can't wait to watch the rest of them. It's coming out weekly. On Netflix, which I thought was cool that they chose to do that and not drop it, you know, not drop the whole season. And, you know, honestly, it's like the thing, if you're going to do like the anthology episodes or whatever, like, you know, every episode is different. There's so much you can throw at the wall there by doing like a horror show.
I've always liked horror anthology movies too. Like, I loved the VHS movies.
Yes.
I remember watching some of, like, I think it's called, like, the ABCs of Death or something, and not really liking that, because I think it was, like, everything was too short.
I've never seen that.
It was, like, the you know, they had to get through, like, 26, so, like, every single, and it's, like, a movie.
Oh.
So every single one is, like, every single one is, like, 3 minutes long.
Okay.
And I also was not wild about XX, which was the horror anthology that Annie Clark
Yes,
directed
I
the
watched
short
it,
film
but
for.
I don't remember it at all. I remember not liking it.
The Annie Clark one's okay.
Yeah.
It basically feels like a music video. But yeah, but overall, that's just not a great anthology. But still, the structure of a horror anthology is solid.
And yeah, so I'm really excited to see the rest of that. And yeah, I just think 2 thumbs up, even if the rest of them I'm not crazy about. Like, it's just very cool, and it's well made. And I kind of love the idea of Guillermo del Toro just doing like yeah, I'm gonna do the Twilight Zone but horror, you know, because that's like.
Did you know
exactly
that Guillermo del Toro's father got kidnapped and James Cameron gave him $1 million to pay the ransom?
What?
Yeah, man.
Like recently?
No, it was earlier in Guillermo del Toro's career. He was like, I don't know. I don't think he obviously did not have the money.
Yeah.
But was like established enough of a director to be a buddy of James Cameron's, and he told James Cameron about it. And James Cameron was like, "I got you, bro. Here's $1 million."
Wow, amazing, amazing and strange.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's your number 1 on your list?
Okay, this is it's so good. It's called The Haunting at Hill House, and it is amazing. It's they did 2 of them. The second one is called The Haunting at Bly Manor, and Bly Manor's good, but The Haunting at Hill House is absolutely incredible, and it's just an amazing season of television. It's super crazy scary and so much fun. I don't really have anything else to say about it. I'm just saying, like, if you are the type of person that enjoys a horror television show, you should watch the greatest one ever made, The Haunting at Hill House.
That's Mike Flanagan. I've heard good things about gosh, what's it called? The other one, the newest one.
Yeah, it's
Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass. Yeah, I've heard great things about it as well. I have not seen it.
Mm-hmm. I think he also did Gerald's Game is what it's called. Is a movie.
Oh,
that
really?
I heard about once on like a podcast, and so I looked up the plot summary because I was like, I'll never watch this. It sounds way too scary. And then I read about it, and I was like, yeah, I would never watch.
Is it the one where she ends up handcuffed to her dead husband or something?
Yeah.
I also have not wanted to see that at all.
Yeah.
But again, this guy's awesome, so I kind of trust that it probably is entertaining. But yeah, Haunting at Hill House, #1 with a bullet. It's a perfect season of television.
Well, that's great. So my list is obviously different because I'm an aficionado of holiday-themed episodes of, like, various sitcoms.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Whenever, like, a holiday's coming up, and this year I didn't really do it, but normally I'll try to pull up, like, a good cross-section of, like, I'm like, all right, so what's the Halloween episode of New Girl? What's the Halloween episode of this or that? And just kind of go through them all.
Yeah, I love that.
It's kind of a fun way of, like, revisiting some shows. So here's what I pulled. So for #3, I didn't really know which episode was which, so I just gave a general shout-out to Brooklyn Nine-Nine because they do those Halloween heist episodes.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think those had... If you probably, like, charted those out, there's, like... it's kind of like diminishing returns, but then I think it kind of, like, it peaks again.
Yes.
So you know, there's probably a week 1 or 2 in there, but overall, like, it's very fun. And I like the idea that that's all the Halloween episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine kind of tell their own little mini arc within the show.
Yeah.
So that's fun. And I like that they kind of, in the same way that New Girl would always use this fake game called True American to, like, signal important shifts in the story, they would do the same thing with their Halloween episodes.
Yes, I agree with that.
So just fun technique for a sitcom. Okay, so the #2 on my list is Treehouse of Horror 4 from The Simpsons, and this is the one where Mr. Burns is a vampire.
Okay.
And it's I just found out that actually it was Conan O'Brien's last script for The Simpsons, but it's on my list just because I have a very distinct memory of watching this at our Uncle Jeff's house on or around Halloween and being so scared.
That's funny.
Which is, like, I don't think The Simpsons really intended for their shows to be really scary, but, like, something about the way that in those episodes, like, the characters from The Simpsons would, like, step out from behind a curtain beforehand and, like, talk to you about what you were going to see.
Right.
Like, so creeped me out.
Huh. Well, and it also was like that we were watching things that we shouldn't watch at that age.
Yeah, sure, probably true. But it's like, when I think about things that really scare me, that's one thing. And it's like that whole thing in Mulholland Drive, like the whole, like, Silencio thing, like, that so freaked me out. And it's like something about that, like, direct address that just I find so creepy.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if the rest of that episode is good, but I just remember being so scared about the Mr. Burns vampire
so funny
section. So anyway, my #1 is there's an episode of Frasier that's just called Halloween, and it's a Halloween party at Niles' house, and there is a series of misunderstandings about which character is pregnant.
Huh.
And so it's funny, everyone's dressed up in weird costumes, and I think it was the first episode of Frasier that I, like, ever watched as an adult who was paying attention to it as more than the show that was on before The Simpsons came on.
Right.
It was, like, the first one I really engaged with, and it does the comedy of errors kind of structure that some episodes of Frasier do that, like, I always loved about Shakespeare. Like, that's my favorite thing. My favorite kind of TV show episode is, like, this misunderstanding sparks this misunderstanding sparks this misunderstanding, and then they all culminate together.
Okay, I could get with that.
That's why I really love the movie Tangerine which is about like two prostitutes in Florida. But it does all these, it's like a bunch of comedic misunderstandings culminate in this big, all the characters from the movie are all in one place talking to each other thing and like figuring out what happened, basically. And even like Modern Family does that a couple of times.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
They like get their act together enough to do this comedy of errors thing, and I've always loved that. So Halloween episode of Frasier, that's my number one.
That's so funny. I was like trying to scan my brain and what I thought you were going to pick out. And I really should have just immediately gone to Frasier. I don't know why I didn't.
I that was actually the last one that I like uncovered in my like light research for this.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Should always go, if you're guessing something about Zac and television, you should always go with Frasier. That's probably a great bet.
All right, so let's talk about our favorite horror movies. We had kind of already touched on this last time, and we said we were going to come back with a full list.
Yes.
So in my case, for my list, I was like, I'm not going to talk about some of the ones we already talked about, like The Invitation and Coherence.
Right.
And then there was a couple other movies that one movie that was on my list for a while was I Saw the Devil, which is a Korean revenge movie. It's not necessarily a horror movie, but it is the scariest and most disturbing movie I've ever seen.
Wow.
But for that reason,
that's so strong.
Yeah, but for that reason, I wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
Because like it's not fun. It's awful.
Right. Right. That's the thing, man.
So,
there's a certain amount of enjoyment that really gets interrupted by scare. You know, I think me personally, as a person that watches a ton of horror movies, I think that there are like, I think that one of my, like the biggest level of scare that you can get is like basically Conjuring 1, without it being like, like not fun, or like The Strangers. The Strangers is fucking terrifying, but still like entertaining enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's a movie out right now that's called like Terrifier 2, and my sense of it is that it's just like absolute horrific, brutal, grinding, awful.
That's how I feel about that movie Smile. I feel like that movie Smile is going to be way too terrifying to be fun.
Yeah, and I guess terrifying is one thing, and then like gory is another. And I Saw the Devil is not. It's very violent, but it's mostly the idea of it that's violent. Like it's not a lot of on-screen. There's a lot of on-screen blood, but a lot of the worst stuff is sort of just suggested. But it's just it's too much. It's too much. It's not fun, and that's. And then something we talked about, none of these movies made my list, but something I had forgotten about, like a whole vein of horror movies that I saw lots of them, were the kind of like, it's like Ty West and a couple other directors made a bunch of these like indie horror movies. Ty West right now is the one he did that movie Pearl, and the one that came before it is called X. It's like a trilogy. Yeah. So I haven't seen those, but like back in the day, Ty West made a movie called House of the Devil, which I really loved. And then he's in a movie called You're Next, which is a great kind of like indie horror movie. I think I've seen that. And then Ty West also did a movie called The Sacrament that I really liked a lot as well. It's like a found footage kind of horror movie. I kind of want to just like honorable mention that like that group of movies because they did not make it on my list, but they're all good and fun.
I honestly don't know that I have seen any of those. I mean, like Your Next sounds really familiar, but that's like you just listed like a ton of them that I've never heard of before.
I would say all three of those, House of the Devil, The Sacrament, and You're Next, are all like those are the ones I remember as being kind of the best.
Yeah.
And you know, like the VHS movies it's a lot of those same people. So there was like a lot of like indie horror that was coming out around that time. I think as kind of a corrective to like Saw 9, you know, like that was mainstream horror at the time. And so these guys were kind of like, I don't know, trying to do something a little more fun and a little less grim, although there's still like awful violence.
What year would you place those? What years-ish would you place those?
2013, 14.
Okay. Interesting. And here's why.
Maybe earlier.
Wait, did you say your number 3?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Well, what I'll say is this. Every movie that I picked for this top 3 is from the year 2015.
Oh, that's interesting.
I did not do that on purpose. I literally looked them up and I was like, oh, 2015. Oh, 2015? And then the last one, which I guess I'll just say, because we aren't going to really talk about my first 2 because we have already talked about them. But my number 3 is It Follows. And It Follows kind of stands in... There were so many of this like indie horror movie made around this time that have similar vibes. And
no, you're right.
And like Babadook is one of them. That might have been a little earlier than that, but like Death Note and like a few others.
The Guest?
The Guest?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
It's got the same girl from It Follows, and it's got Dan, the guy from Legion.
Oh, yeah. I love him. Dan...
Yeah, I forget his
name. I don't...
Stevens. Dan Stevens. So The Guest is another one that came out right around that time, 2014.
So, yeah, It Follows, I think it... Like, when you look it up, it says 2014 as the movie, but then the release date was March 2015. And I was like, that's weird.
So it probably came out... It probably hit, like, festivals and stuff the year before.
All right, so what's your number 3?
Okay, so I totally forgot about The Guest. That should be on there. My number 3 movie I don't really want to talk about, but I want to make sure people see the right one. So it's a movie called Triangle, and it's from 2009. And I think, let me look up the name of the woman who stars in it. Melissa George is the main character. It's apparently free on YouTube.
Weird.
Right now.
Okay.
So, and it's also on Tubi. So here's what I would say about Triangle. If you feel like you can take moderately scary horror, like I don't think there's anything super gory in this movie or anything, just watch it totally blind.
Okay.
Because it has very unexpected twists and turns, but to not know is the best way to watch it. And I know because that happened with me. I was listening to a podcast around this time. Dave Chen from the Filmcast said, you should watch this movie and don't look up anything about it. And I was like, okay, I will. And I had a great time. So Triangle 2009, if you Google Triangle 2009, it comes up as like the link where you can watch it on YouTube. So so everybody should watch it.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Hey, I just want to drop in here and say I discovered that the version of Triangle on YouTube is censored. Like as in like language bleeped out, and in theory some of the shots in the movie would have to be censored in a way that might even make it a little bit harder to understand what the movie's about. So I would go ahead and watch this on Tubi. We're going to talk more about Tubi in this episode, but hopefully it'll convince you to sign up for a Tubi account because it's free and it's great. So anyway, watch Triangle on Tubi, not on YouTube. Back to the show.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me it's been a while since I've even seen it, so I almost don't remember it, which I'm kind of excited about, so maybe I will watch it again.
Okay. I like it. So, my number 2 is another movie that we're not going to talk about. Again, 2015. It's The Invitation. I had to put it on the list. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. The Invitation is so good.
It's so good. And, like, everybody should watch it. It's so much fun. Oh, and we should also...
I don't understand why Logan Marshall Green is not... I don't understand why he's not, like, a huge star.
Agreed. I will also say we should specify that it's 2015 and not the new one, because there's a new movie called The Invitation out.
No, you're right. The Invitation is directed by Karen Kusama.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got to be The Invisible. I was like trying to look up the other way. The Invitation, 2015 film. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Funny that there's 2.
I know.
But yep. Oh man, John Carroll Lynch. That guy's so scary.
Dude, it's just one of those. There's something about a very specific type of horror movie doesn't fall to horror tropes. And is still somehow, like, even without any sort of, like, actual horror aspect of this movie for, like, a really long time.
Yeah.
And so, like, maybe we're even wrong to classify it as horror. You know, maybe it's more like a thriller or something like that. But it's just a perfect movie.
I will also say as a public service announcement that it is free on Peacock and Tubi.
What is Tubi?
So-
Why do you keep saying this?
Oh, Tubi! You don't know. Tubi is great. So Tubi is like, I don't understand how it's legal, but it's like a streaming service that's totally free. Just like log in with Facebook or something, and they have tons of movies. They have tons of garbage, but they also will have like I watched Night of Cups, which is a Terrence Malick movie on Tubi.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah.
Okay, I'll look into Tubi.
The number 2 one on my list is Under the Skin, the Scarlett Johansson movie.
Oh, yes.
Which is another one of those ones that falls under the category of being so incredibly disturbing.
Yes.
But what I would say about it is that it's mean. Like, this is like the meanest movie I've ever seen. And it's kind of impressively mean. So there's a scene that takes place on a beach that like caused lots of people to walk out of the movie. And it's brutal. But it's, I don't know. There's a lot of, speaking of, we talked about The Green Knight earlier. It's like visually stunning.
Yeah.
There are images from Under the Skin that I will like never forget.
We did turn Under the Skin off. I never finished it.
Did you make it to the part on the beach? Is that what made you turn it off?
I think so. I can't really remember. And part of it had to do with like us not being like in the mental space to be watching it at the time. You know, it was just one of those things where like as the viewer we weren't clicking. So it got to that, I think it was the beach part. And I think we were like, no, I'm done with this.
I saw that movie at the music hall, and what's funny is I've always meant to watch it again because at the time there was kind of a sound issue at the music hall where if you were sitting in certain seats, you couldn't really hear the music in a movie.
Huh.
So, and it's funny because I watched a lot of movies at that time that if they didn't have any music in them, it wouldn't really be weird. So I had always kind of made a mental note to like go back and revisit that movie because I think there's like a significant score, but for me, large stretches of the movie were basically silent.
Huh.
Which was kind of cool.
I kind of remember
anyway.
it being very silent. So
Well, yeah, it may be. That's the thing is I don't really know for sure. I just know there is a score, which I'm like, interesting. So this is a real wild card, and I'm really stretching the definition of a horror movie here.
Okay,
but I'm thinking of ending things.
I fucking hate you. Why would you pick that movie?
Because I loved it.
Oh my god, you loved it.
And yes,
Ugh.
and for a very long stretch of that movie, I was convinced it was a full-on horror movie.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
And the argument could be made that it is, but there's something that is so unnerving about the entire thing. The experience of watching that movie is so unnerving.
Yes.
And I think that's what I like best about horror. Is I like to be kind of unnerved.
Yeah.
I don't really like to be grossed out, and I don't like to be like really scared. I don't like to see people die, but I like to be unnerved.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, that's.
like,
I think you're breaking down like a very important aspect of why people like horror to begin with. Yeah, I don't. The being scared aspect of things is part of the entertainment. But it's more about like when you're watching something and you feel like this extreme emotion that's almost that you're like kind of incapable of putting into words. The unnerved, detail is so important in that. Yeah.
well,
God damn you.
I know it's not really a horror movie, but that's my pick. That's my number one scary movie. I'm thinking of ending things. It's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, watch it and then get mad at me on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, like it's an interesting film, and I just think like my complaint is more that I feel like after being unnerved for so long and like being so curious about what the end is going to be, I felt like the payoff was disappointing to me. Now, I'm a person who does not really hold endings as big in horror movies. I mean, I do, because when it's done well, it's really important, but you find a lot of horror movies have kind of lame endings. I would not describe this film as having a lame ending. It is incredibly interesting and strange. But overall, like, it made me angry after watching it.
It was also this movie is also my very first and still so far still only introduction to Jessie Buckley, who I get the sense is kind of like a very on the up and up actress.
Yeah, I don't.
So there's a couple of like Oscar-y movies this year that I think she's in.
I don't know that I've seen her in anything else, but I might have.
She was in the new Alex Garland movie Men that I was like definitely not going to ever see.
Oh, that looked good.
I don't know. I feel I after Annihilation, I was like, I think I need to be a little careful around this guy's movies.
Annihilation.
Yeah, Annihilation, the one with Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's images in that movie that like I close my eyes and they're right there, you know, and I'm like I need to not see this anymore. I don't want to see this.
I feel like I really liked Annihilation.
I mean I liked it, but I did not like having to see some of the things that I saw in that movie.
Okay. My number one. 2015. Yes. Visions. Okay.
I don't know this movie.
All right. So the deal is, it's about Isla Fisher moves into this winery and starts having these visions, and she is pregnant, and she like there's lots of like doctor telling you, oh, you need to take this medication because you're having visions, like, you know, they aren't real kind of deal. And it is one of these movies that you're like, what is happening? What is this? Until the end, and when you finally figure it out, you're like, holy fucking shit. And it's just one of these awesome reveal. Gillian Jacobs is in it. Couple other people, but it's so much fun because I think that there's, I don't know, it just meets at like a crossroads of like, it just does these things really well. And it's one of these movies that like you're waiting for a payoff the whole time, and then it happens and you're really satisfied with it. And it's just so shocking, and it kind of plays with time a little bit, and it's just so interesting. I'm like, I want to spoil it so bad, but I just want you to watch it instead because it's so much fun. And yeah, it's just a really, really, it's my number one horror movie that I've seen in like years. I just keep going back to it. I keep thinking about it.
Well, that's a good endorsement. I would say that it's. I was gonna say that it's. I think it may be available on a Hulu, but it looks like it may actually be like paywalled behind like the Stars add-on.
Oh, really?
Is, by the way, maybe not, but that's just what I can tell from looking at Google. I find that the add-on system of Hulu to be so frustrating.
Agreed.
Because I have Hulu through Spotify, and so I can't add anything on. And there's like a dozen movies that I really want to see, and they're somehow all on Showtime.
Yes.
And it's like they seem to never leave Showtime.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I got to get a Showtime like free month trial and just go through. But yeah, it's I do not like that system. If anybody out there who's listening to this works at Showtime and wants to just like hook me up with a press pass, let me know. I'll talk about every single movie that I watch on Showtime here on Triple Spiral.
There you go. Visions, 2 thumbs up. I watched it like 2 years ago at least at this point, and I still always come back to it as like one of my all-time favorites.
All right.
And by the way, what I'm saying is, even if you watch it, and don't like it. Zach picked I'm Thinking About Ending Things. So
There's at least one person who is listening to this podcast who's never seen that before is going to watch it and like it, and 10 people are going to watch it and hate it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in my hatred for it, but I just, ugh.
Oh, I think I'm fairly alone in my appreciation for that movie, but the fact remains that I liked it.
I really like the guy in that movie. He's in like a bunch of stuff now.
Jesse Plemons.
Yeah. I really like him.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Okay, well, hey, we made it through our spooky Halloween triple spiral in November.
We sure did. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm going to go back to work, so thank you for talking to me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for talking to me. Watch Visions, watch Haunting at Hill House, people.
And then watch I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Awesome.
All right.
All right.